here today at Toronto's Steam Whistle Brewery. We're here to record an entire song using only the iPad 2. When Steve Jobs launched this tablet, he really made a point of how you could record your guitar or edit together an entire song using GarageBand. But we're here to put that to the test with Steve and Chris from 52 Song Project. They're set out on a mission to record one song for every week of the year. But can they do it using only the iPad 2?
Well, we're using this GarageBand app, which Steve and I just met 30 minutes ago. We didn't. We met the app. We knew each other.
We did know each other.
And there's some virtual instruments inside the app, so we're gonna so we're gonna build out the drum part first, and we're gonna program that in, and then we're probably gonna use some synthetic instruments for bass as well, and then we'll record real guitar and real vocals over top of that.
Because we're at this wonderful Steam Whistle Brewery in downtown Toronto, we figured it would be appropriate to be about beer.
I think it took a beer. I think it took a beer. I think it took a beer.
Steve and Chris always build their songs by starting with the percussion tracks. For this song, they'll use GarageBand smart drums to lay down the beat.
Yeah, this was really cool. So you've got your different tracks here, and then you go into smart drums, and it gives you a grid, and the grid is, on the left it says simple, and on the right it says complex. And the bottom it says quiet, and the top it says loud. And you've got different like kick drum and snare and hi-hat and everything. And you just drag them onto this grid. And so you place them, you move them around, and you start saying, okay, well, I want a less complex cymbal beat, and I want it a little bit quieter, so you move the cymbal down there. And you can add cymbals and put them in a bit of a mid-range, so they're kind of quiet in the background. And it's very cool, and it just builds the beat for you.
We had wanted to use the Apogee Jam adapter that Steve Jobs featured in his keynote, but it isn't shipping yet. We still have a couple of options to capture Steve's riffs.
So we added an instrument in here using the guitar amp there, and we were able to plug the guitar right in through the iRig, and there's a lot of effects and knobs and buttons that you can play with there to make the sound of the guitar that you wanted exactly. We were then able to go through it, and there's a when we were in that track, we were able to hit the monitor button and be able to hear exactly the rest of the song in the background. I was able to play over the bass and the drums and everything. You know what? It's just like the more professional studio setup that I have at home, except without all the fuss and sort of in one clean package. So it actually worked pretty well.
I want to talk about what didn't work to record the guitar on the iPad. We tried to use the Apogee 1 at first, and you plug in your 1/4-inch adapter here, or it has an XLR option as well, and then it gives you a USB output that you can plug into the iPad. However, we weren't able to pick up the guitar sound using that. But if you wanted to, you could use a powered USB hub to pick up the microphone on the Apogee 1 and record audio that way. Rather than plug in a bass guitar, Chris is saving some time by using another virtual instrument.
I just used smart bass to complement our smart drums. So it works a really similar way. I told the what do you call it, the GarageBand, what key the song is in, and then I just picked one of the preset bass rhythms and just tapped which chords. So all I was saying was play the G, D, C chord, and the bass is going dum dum ba-dum dum and doing like something kind of fun and interesting. So we've just recorded that, so I played that out for the whole song, and now we've got all of our drum and bass tracks all laid down.
Using Apple's camera accessory kit, we were able to plug in a USB microphone to capture vocals and acoustic guitar. This isn't officially supported by Apple, but microphones such as the Blue Snowball will work with GarageBand.
Well, it's a little bit muddy and not quite what we're used to, and I found it really picked up a lot of the background noise being at a noisy brewery.
I came to breathe some life into this party. I came to walk to the beat of my drum.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to pure simplicity, it's a good setup. I mean, it's really easy to set up, and I mean, you can throw everything into your man purse and go right there.
GarageBand's track view allows for intuitive editing of up to 8 tracks. Steve and Chris can control the levels of each track, and they can also easily lengthen or shorten segments by tapping and dragging. There's also options to split and loop track segments. Before long, the editing process is finished.
You know what, I think it was a pretty good experience overall. It's a bit more limited in terms of mixing and what we can do. Like, there weren't as many effects, and we would usually spend more time on like adding effects like compression and EQ and that sort of thing. Yeah, but we're also rushed, and it's the first time we're using it, so.
Yeah. You know, I found that the limiting factor was the microphone for me, as well as some of the effects that you could pull on the tracks themselves. You know, as far as using it for projects, it would actually be a really great, useful tool as far as recording demos. You know, you got an idea in your head, you could set this up and go in 5 minutes and have something down and your creative process going. And then move on to something where you can create more effects and so on.
So would you guys actually record another song using the iPad, or was this just a fun experiment to try?
What do you think?
I think we might. I think in a portable situation, like the portability is really key. So if we were like, I imagine in like, because Steve and I know each other from camping, so I imagine like taking it on a canoe trip and recording out in the woods or like at a cottage or something like that. If I'm at home, like I've already got a bit of a nicer setup, I can use all of my own mics. I can do whatever I want there, and I can save it on the computer more easily. But I think as a portable recording solution, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment.
Yeah, so there you have it. It looks like the iPad is great for having a fun recording or in a portable situation, but maybe it's not going to replace a professional recording studio. For itbusiness.ca, I'm Brian Jackson.